Hello and good day. My name is Torsten Schoepe. I'm owner-operator of Schoepe GmbH. We are here in our company photo studios and I'm about to demonstrate the Freemask technology to you in detail. We will show you some setup samples and how to work with it. Freemask has been designed to meet the requirement to separate static subjects quick and easy from the background. Freemask has been used and improved in our studio for several years now. 2 years ago, in cooperation with Hensel, another improvement took place, enabling this technique to be used with living subjects. Hensel integrated controls into their flash units and designed a special radio trigger that enables this procedure to be run semi-automatic in a way unseen before. We will demonstrate the huge advantages this procedure offers and outline the backdrafts as well. Some hints about details on the setup complete the introduction. We have a subject ideally suited for Freemask because nobody would want to cut out all those fine details of the parrot ship by hand. The first exposure is shot with a light ideal for the subject, completely ignoring the background. You don't need to light the background in any way. The second shot is a silhouette with light only on the background. We switch off the pilot lights of the subject flash to give you an idea. Obviously, some of the background reflects back onto the subject, meaning that the silhouette is not jet black from scratch. We enhance this by setting up flags, curtains, gobos and the like to avoid background spill. You only need the area of the subject plus a little. There's no need to get the background all white in one shot. See now, the subject light is off, it's just the background light on. Also, the background shot is not exposed for pure white. An even gray is absolutely fine and reduces flare and shine a lot. This leaves room for masking subject transparencies as transparencies on top of that. Now we have movable walls that close in on the subject. You just need a little bit of white around the subject. You don't need the whole white wall. And then there's a curtain from above coming down that allows to really zero in on the subject. It's like an inverted lens shade. Recap. First exposure goes only on the subject. You don't need to pay attention to the background. Second exposure goes only on the background. The subject is a silhouette. We have now opened the two exposures in Photoshop. Left is the subject exposure, to the right is the background exposure that will be turned into a mask. A quick lasso selection removes everything that might show vignetting or other problems later. Just draw it with the lasso. Rough selection will do. Invert and kill. Now the levels correction provides us with a better black and white. And then we pull in the blacks to enhance the density of the mask. You see the flag shows a little transparency and there are some shining pieces on the ship itself. This would be usually also in a regular picture coming in from the background, so we leave it like it is. You could as well fix this in with a quick stroke of a brush if you need. Now invert it, copy it to. You see some imperfections that might be killed later, and there's the white detail from the paper that we put in to enhance the reflection in the ship's hull. You can easily fix that with just a few mouse clicks. That's far better than putting clipping paths or masking the whole ship in one go. Now we run the Freemask action. We put in a control layer with a color that helps us to decide if the mask has been working. We select a mask and then copy, paste the mask that we had. Okay, there we go. It's a perfect mask, no fuzzy edges, not a single problem. Nice transparency in the sails and in the flag. Everything is where you want it. Now this technique can be used for still subjects in as slow as you want. You can manually switch off and on the background and the subject flash, but it doesn't help very much when the subject is moving. And with living subjects, it's even more important. So Freemask is in the following products: Integra Plus, Expert D, compact heads, Portylithium, Tria 24SF, and Nova D generators. So now going to subjects that live and move. The evolution of Freemask that enables capturing living subjects was made possible by the advent of DSLRs with high frame count per second. This Nikon, for example, delivers 9 frames per second full frame and up to 11 frames per second in DX format. Another component is a special radio trigger built by Hensel, a Freemask variant of the Strobe Wizard. This device can trigger subject flash group and background flash group independent from each other. All of the current Hensel units with built-in radio triggers support Freemask, which means that on top of the regular channels C1, C2 and C3, they offer F1, F2 and F3 for Freemask applications. This allows, in combination with the high frame count of the camera, to expose the subject and background with minimal lag time between exposures. We set the camera drive speed to the highest possible speed, trying to reduce the time between exposures to a minimum. 11 frames per second, the maximum the camera offers. Here we go. Sorry, it's in German. So frame rate, 11 frames per second. And then we limit the maximum burst to 2 frames in one go. This will give us nice couples of background and foreground and not produce too much outtakes. So we have 4 Hensel Integras in the background, Freemask flashes with white umbrellas to give us a very even background. We have the Hensel Deep Octa as the main light, and the camera is on the tripod. Here's our model Carmen. It's very helpful to have the camera on the tripod, and to use a cable release in order not to introduce any photographer shake onto the camera, and make this a fixed system as much as possible. The model is instructed not to move between exposures, so she might change her pose and freeze, click, click, change the pose again, freeze, click, click, and so on. So we have nice couples of two images in one row, always the subject and the background in consecutive exposures. You can see it on the back on the camera already. Subject followed by mask. Again, subject, mask. This can easily be put together in Photoshop afterwards. And there's also a Freemask action on the Hensel website that you can download. Now we show you where the limits of the system are. There's a shutter lag of about 1/10 of a second, depending on how fast your camera can go. With slower cameras, it might even be only 1/3 of a second. And this is too much to allow any movement. So putting in the wind machine, you will very, very easily see that this doesn't work. So shoot a few couples, and you can see already on the back LCD that the hair is moving that fast. It's impossible to match mask and subject picture. It's a pity, isn't it? Freemask, the standard, works very fine with subjects that don't move, or people that are able to stand still quite a lot, but it doesn't give you any better. But there's more. There's Freemask 1000. Hensel has new technology in the SpeedMax flash, and in conjunction with a mechanical setup, this can be put to work very easily. There's a base plate, very precisely machined. There's 2 cameras, 2 identical lenses, 2 radio triggers, one for the subject group, one for the background group. This is camera 2 for the background. There's a 45-degree partial transmissive mirror that will help us to overlay both pictures almost seamlessly. And there's the control box. The control box is there to set the delay between the 2 exposures. So this time we're not shooting fast with one camera. We are enhancing the shutter lag, or the flash lag in this case, by manually controlling the delay between the 2 cameras firing. There's a micro adjustment rail. There's mirrors, screws on the bottom, and this is how it's set up. We have target with lines and crosses, a mirror in the middle to allow for perfectly perpendicular mounting, and we set up the cameras in a way that allows us to overlay both pictures pixel to pixel without any pixel shift. 2 or 3 pixels horizontal or vertical shift can be adjusted in a Photoshop action later, but it's much better to have it precisely mounted and then produce a lot of pictures in one go without any problems. Setting this up takes about an hour if you want it absolutely precise. Precision of 95% is often enough if you're willing to invest some time in Photoshop action. Now we look at the diagram, how it all works. The regular setup would be 2 consecutive exposures of 1/200th each. Flash sync. And this is the curve of the flash, the regular way it burns off. The lag between the two P's is about 1/9 or 1/11 of a second, depending on the camera speed with a fast camera. This is too much lag to allow for movement. Now there's new technology. Hensel Speedmax flashes use IGBT technology, and they don't have a sinus curve. Their burn rate is rectangular with very high flanks rising and falling. And we're simply using this to set the delay as short as possible in an attempt to put the falling flank of the subject flash and the rising flank of the background flash as close to each other as possible. You see, the two exposures are overlapping, but not the flash itself. The delay between the falling flank of the subject group and the rising flank of the background group, that's the possible delay that you can achieve, and that can go down to maybe 1/1000th of a second. This helps a lot to capture movements. Now, we set this up again. Again, we're using the wind machine. And again, we shoot 2 pictures in a row. Okay, power up. Hair is moving. You see the exposure looks like it's almost 1 because it's so close to each other. The background flashes again. Our model. Now look at the setup. The 2 cameras. One is looking through the transmissive mirror, semi-transmissive mirror, and the other is looking straight at the subject. Okay, This needs to be flipped horizontally because it uses a mirror. Draw a quick lasso selection as we had before with the standard Freemask as well. Kill what you don't need. And then levels control, black and white of course, for the mask. Levels control gives you just white. Don't overdo this. You will want to save some transparency in the hair as well. Just in real life, hair is a little bit transparent and you might see background through the hair. So now with the control layer and jet black, you see how very well the mask already works. There's slight imperfections, slight white rims on it, but then we put in a final picture that we use as a background. Wow, you see it looks almost like there's sun on the hair. So there's no need to really do much about it. We blur the background a little bit to make it look more natural. You could as well now retouch the slight imperfections in the mask with color fill, but look at it, it's not really necessary. This system works very well, and you can produce large quantities of masks in very short time with very, very high precision. Freemask 1000, Freemask Standard, all delivered to you from Hensel.